G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to take a look at the INT Oceanus Shenron. So Oceanus Shenron is a pretty good unit. You can currently get her for free from the Valentine's Day event. And overall she's a really solid unit. She has a Shadow Dragon Saga category leader skill of 120%. She also raises defense for 1 turn on her super attack and seals the enemy, which is pretty damn good. She then also has key and attack and defense of 120%, plus an additional attack and defense of 60%, and launches an additional super attack when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down. She also has attacks effective against all types and a high chance of stunning the attacked enemy when the target's enemy super attack is sealed. So essentially how she works is if the enemy is in attack down or defense down, she is guaranteed to fire 2 super attacks and she will seal them and then also have a chance at stunning them because she will proc the seal on her first attack, which means she'll have a 50% chance to stun them on her second attack. Plus the second attack will be effective against all types as well. So essentially she'll be doing quite a lot of damage. Because of the way her effects work and because she requires status effects to truly be at full power, she's a unit that's really well used in the SBR and the ESBR content because her status effects, her sealing and everything can come into play quite a bit. So definitely something that you're going to want to keep an eye on. In terms of link skills, she has Battlefield Diva, Metamorphosis, Cold Judgment, Shadow Dragon, Speedy Retribution, GT, and Shattering the Limit. And in terms of category, she has Shadow Dragon Saga, Peppy Gals, and GT bosses. All okay. Very limited character, doesn't have the largest amount of categories, but it's not necessarily the absolute end of the world. She's still a very solid unit, and just considering how much I've used her and the teams I've used her on, she's a unit that is still quite usable today. Just with the amount of utility she brings to the table, with a decent amount of damage, her defense can be very good. So yeah, she's a very solid unit. We're going to use her on the Shadow Dragon Saga team currently. I think GT bosses in future will be a very good team for her once it gets a little bit more about it. It just basically needs a little bit more in terms of units and utilization, more so than anything else. It just needs a bit more options, realistically speaking. In terms of Oceanus Shenron herself, her link set's kind of split between Battlefield Divas and of course the Shadow Dragon GT kind of build. The only shame with her is that she doesn't have big bad bosses, which would be quite a nice score overall for Oceanus Shenron. But that being said, she's still a very good unit and one that's usable in a lot of content. So yeah, very cool unit. In terms of how does she improve with dupes, she does get quite a bit better, but her stat score is still pretty low overall. A 55% unit, for example, will have 10,500 attack, whereas the max unit will only have 13,533, so she doesn't really have a big fall off in terms of stats. We can see here she's close to 150k defense, which is very good. Remember, as soon as he is in attack and defense, we also gain 60% attack and defense when we fire the super attack, so it's not reflecting here, but it will reflect when we fire the super attack, as long as he is in defense down. Then of course, if we seal him, we also gain a second super attack. We gain a highly effective attack against all types. So very good. Very solid performance. At that point, she also raises her defense on her super attack, so that 150k there, even though he wasn't in attack down status, that 150k there would reflect as just about 170, 165, because we've now raised our defense on our super, which is very good. So yeah, overall, a very impressive unit. So super duper ecstatic to kind of see how good she still is. Considering that she's not really the newest unit. She came out in 2020, So she's not old by any chance, but still just really good to see that she's still aged really well. She still is very usable. Her attack stats don't look the highest, but if you think about her functionality and the kind of content you're going to use her in, she can still be incredibly good. So we've got a very good rotation for her here. She's going to get the defense, or the debuff I should say, from the Sin Shenron. He's going to lower the attack and defense of hit here. She's got 4 links activated. She's got 150k defense, and she will trigger that attack and defense of 60% on her super attack, which is going to be very, very good. She will also, or she should, fire 2 super attacks as well, because he is in defense down position. So we should be able to see a pretty solid display here from her. Some really good attack stats and everything, so we'll see how she looks, but defense really solid. A good attack stat. Remember, the first one is not attacks effective against all types, whereas the second one is indeed attack effective against all types. So this one is treated as if we already had type advantage, but in any situation would have type advantage. So very, very good attack stat there, especially one that's going to be multiplied and become type advantage, plus ceiling, plus the potential to stun. Just a lot going on, which is really, really good. So yeah, that's her on the Shadow Dragons team. What we'll do now is we'll just switch across, and we're going to try her out on the Peppy Gals team. GT bosses will be very similar to Shadow Dragons, just in terms of functionality, so no real need to kind of run her through this similar kind of process. So let's run her on Peppy Gals. So the nice thing about the Peppy Gals team is that it can cater to a lot of what she requires. So firstly, Videl and the AGL Mai and a lot of Mai's all have Cold Judgment, which is a very powerful defensive link for her, so having that activated will be very, very good. And we can have them all float on the floater slot, which means she has it up 100% of the time. So it's a very, very good link for her. Then, of course, we can pair her with this Ribrianne. Now, what Ribrianne does is Ribrianne debuffs the enemy, which is a very, very good thing. She debuffs the enemy, which is incredible. Here you can see Ribrianne's also giving her support as well. She also debuffs the enemy's attack and defense. So essentially, Ribrianne immediately sets up Oceanus Shenron to hit a very, very good attack stat. And we've got a very good amount of links activated because Videl gives us Cold Judgment. So we're sitting with 151k, which is very, very good. Our highest defense stat yet. That will also go up because we now have the additional super attacks, plus we also have the attack and defense bonus of 60%. So Oceanus Shenron will have over 200k defense after she fires her super, which is very, very good. And you can see there almost 2 million, which is a very, very good attack stat. She's going to seal him up, and if she doesn't finish him, she'll fire off another one. And this one is even stronger because it's now attack effective against all types because he's sealed and we get the stun. So yeah, she on the surface, if you just look at the pure numbers, she looks good, don't get me wrong. She doesn't look bad at all. But if you just think about the fact that she essentially is running what? If the opponent's in attack and defense down position, she's guaranteed 2 super attacks of 1.8 million. The second one has a 1.5 times modifier, no matter who she's facing. So you're looking at, technically speaking, a 2.7 million attack stat. So she's really doing about 4.2 million in pure raw supers damage, along with the fact that she is producing sealing and stunning, and she's raising her defense twice by 30% each turn on both supers. So she's looking really good, actually, when you really want to break it down. In terms of her link set and where you can go with it, well, Battlefield Divas, you're just looking at an extra key and a 5% chance of evasion. Not too great. Metamorphosis, very powerful, and an extra attack and defense of 10%. Cold Judgment, an extra 5% attack and defense. Shadow Dragons is a big one. You gain 20% defense. So between, if you were to up Cold Judgment and Shadow Dragons, she'll be getting an extra 25% defense from her links when she's linked up with a Shadow Dragon on GT or Shadow Dragon Saga teams. GT is also another powerful link, attack and defense of 10%. So she can get a whole nother 40% defense almost just from leveling up her links that she shares with Shadow Dragon's allies. And on the Peppy Gals team, you're looking at another attack and defense of 10%, 5% defense. So you're looking at another solid 15% defense and 15% attack, which is pretty good. Again, we see her busting out some really good attack stats. She's doing some really solid levels of damage. She can triple super in a turn if the enemy is in attack or defense down, which is almost insane. The fact that she can triple super is nuts. So she can do a lot of damage, and with all those supers, her defense is raising still to very good points. We'll see it later on when we take her into an ESBR, but she can tank really well after her super attacks have gone off. So realistically speaking, the question is not, is Oceanus good? It's more just the fact that you just need to decide if you have the facilities to make her function fully. Now, in terms of long events, obviously she's not going to function as well. In long events, usually the enemies at certain points can't be attack and defense down, which is going to remove a large portion of her additional attack and defense she gains. It's going to remove her additional super as well, and eventually they can't be sealed and stunned either, so you're losing her utility. Now, it's not to say you can't use her at all. She'll still be decent, especially if you get her link set going. She'll still be very good defensively just because of the power of her link set defensively and the fact that she has pretty solid attack and defense starting stats. But other than that, you know, I wouldn't really suggest her for long form events. But yeah, so let's take a look at her linking partners, see who she links really well with and who she has some decent synergy with. Obviously her link set's a little bit split. She doesn't have a unit that's going to currently share 7 links with her. It's not like she's going to have every single link completed or activated at any given point in time. You can between a combination of units, but it is something that's quite difficult to regularly get. You've got Battlefield Diva, Metamorphosis, Cold Judgment, Shadow Dragon, Speedy Retribution, GT, and Shattering the Limit. Honestly speaking, I would say just having Cold Judgment and Shattering the Limit is probably absolutely fine. Cold Judgment gives a 25% defense at max link level, which is obviously something that's very powerful and does help her out. And Shattering the Limit is her most common key link, I would say. Speedy Retribution is probably the link you are going to activate the least. It's just not a link that's really easy to activate. If you look at units like this Tech Nova Shenron, who is a bit old now, but is an example of a unit that can link with her. Him and the physical Nova Shenron both share good links with her. They have Cold Judgment, Shadow Dragons, and GT, while the physical Nova Shenron also shares Shattering the Limit. You then also have units like AGL Mai, who share Battlefield Diva and Cold Judgment and Shattering the Limit, which is really good. It's a lot of key, and it's the main defensive points, plus Mai also provides support. And same with this Poutine free-to-play unit, however, she's more a crossover specific unit, so I wouldn't suggest running her with Oceanus in general, but if you add options, you add options. So yeah, in terms of linkage, that's kind of the main priorities. There is Shadow Dragons, which is very powerful and something you'll activate a lot if you run her on Shadow Dragon Saga or on GT bosses. And it's probably single-handedly her most powerful link. It's basically attack and defense of 20%. It's like a version of Big Bad Bosses, which is pretty insane. And this physical Nova Shenron's a really good linking partner for her. Just it's a bit unfortunate that he wasn't a Shadow Dragon Saga support. He was just a super class Shadow Dragon Saga support, which is a little bit bumming, especially considering he's now on GT bosses as well, so it does feel a little bit contradictory to kind of have him on an extreme focus team with giving a super support, but that's not really what he's for. But yeah, that's kind of it in terms of linking partners. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Oceanus is good? Do you have Oceanus? Have you used her at all? And do you plan on using her? And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like on the video. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!